What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. So, before I get into what I really want to talk about, let me address this. Well, I want to talk about this for a minute. That's why I'm doing it. I don't want to make a separate video about it. I just want to address something. And yeah, I was asked that I see the Floyd Mayweather fight, his exhibition. Yes, I saw him knock the guy out, and because it was an exhibition, I really had no intentions on making a video about it, and I'm not going to make a video about the fight itself. I was asked did I see the disrespect that Floyd was showed. Yes, I saw what happened. So basically, for you guys that's not aware, and let me just, address it. Yeah, I saw it. It was cowardly. It was what a sucker would do. The guy's a coward, and basically he's a disrespectful piece of shit, probably a fucking racist. Okay, what he did was, the Japanese customs where, they go and give flowers to the, to the fighters. And basically, what happened was this. I think it's a classy thing when the fighters exchange the flowers as a sign of respect. And that's not what happened. This guy named, what's his name? Takashi Inouye. Takashi Akuno, or some shit, whatever you call his fucking stuff. Takashi Akuno. He came over there and he took the flowers and just threw them on the floor in front of Floyd. And then tried to give him a tough look and walk away. Floyd looked at him. And then Floyd picked the flowers up and gave them to his corner. I'd have kicked the motherfuckers out the ring. Or whatever. So I don't know if he wanted to try to get in Floyd's head to distract him, or it was just some racist bullshit. Because there was no, you and Floyd have no beef. The fact that was even done, it's like, the Japanese guy, the fighter, Inouye, he basically apologized to Floyd for that shit. And that's just the class that he has. You can't apologize for somebody else, though. Not on that type of situation. In fact, they should have made that guy apologize. Like, what kind of shit is that? This is one of the reasons why you see racism is hard to fucking die, because it's shit like that. And then when people, now don't get me wrong, there's many Japanese people that were talking about that. In fact, I ate in a Japanese restaurant today, and people was talking about that shit in the restaurant. I wasn't talking about any other fights, Joseph Parker and all them. They was talking about that shit. And I go in this restaurant often. I go to a lot of Thai restaurants, a lot of Chinese, Korean, Mediterranean, yeah. I just, I eat a lot of Indian food. I eat a lot of different shit, man. I'm not, one of these, I only eat this and that, I keep it healthy, but I eat different types of food. So, these people were actually apologizing to me. I'm like, listen, I appreciate the gesture, but you cannot apologize for what somebody else do. I get it. You feel bad about what happened. You figure I probably am aware of what happened, and you just want to show class and respect. I appreciate that. I said, but there's nothing dealing with us. But I appreciate that. But I get it. Because shit like that happens, and then people feel like, when you watch something from afar, you feel like, well, okay, this is their customs, you should respect the bowing and all. But all of a sudden, here this man comes in here to fight, and you guys, this type of shit happens, and it's like, the show has to go on. They're, broadcasting this thing live, and, they were complaining about it, that was wrong. The guy shouldn't have did that. I don't know if the guy was reprimanded or not. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's amazing to me, because when you see shit like that, your mind is not on racism. Your mind is not on certain ignorant shit. And then something like that happens, and you go, damn, wow, yeah, I saw what happened. That guy, people need to understand something. Anytime you are a representation of a company, okay, in this situation, whatever the company was, and then two, Japanese people are very proud about their customs and wanting to show hospitality to their guests and all that type of stuff. So, when you are a representative, you show, not going to say one person or a few people or a lot of people speak for everybody. Okay, I know better than that. But it's hard when you deal with that kind of shit and you see things happen all the time and people treat it like all teachers own. And I'll be real, because I had a lot of people flood my comment section before about things that Hopkins said or things that Devin Haney said or other, referencing I never let a white boy beat me and stuff like that and all that. You never heard me say, well, what about when white people say the same thing? Or what? You understand what I'm saying? My whole thing is I don't condone the shit. And I know that it's an ugly thing, racism, because it will cause people to start blaming everybody that look like the people that did or said some disrespectful shit. Especially when it's the type of thing where, like, look, this is why when I listen to people, say certain things, I see certain comments. Certain people can't see over this internet. People can type shit and whatever, and I don't allow it. I don't agree with that shit then. And I'll make it known I don't. But you couldn't come in my face and talk that bullshit. In a conversation with me, you couldn't come, that shit that y'all type on the keyboards, you couldn't come sit there and say that shit to me. And everything's gonna be okay. Like, I don't care personally. I don't know Floyd Mayweather. I don't know these people on a personal level. It just gets my attention how people will make video after video every time he has an exhibition. Oh, Floyd Mayweather's broke. Oh, Floyd Mayweather, he has no more money. Floyd, it's like, first off, why would you even, that makes you happy? Like if somebody's going through tough times, if that would be the case, that makes you happy? That's something for you to jump up and celebrate? Did you not realize that the same shit could happen to you? The same shit could happen to somebody that you love, and there's nothing you can do to help them but stand back and hurt for them because you're not in a position to help them. But then every time y'all say that shit, and then Floyd Mayweather might have, a video of a new car he just bought, or, you understand what I'm saying? Something, just have people come and do an interview in his mansion or something. But it's always like, I don't do domestic shit, but people, they waste so much energy. They waste so much energy trying to downplay someone because they hate them. And you hate this person based on what? Oh, man, because he talked too much shit. Oh, man, because I remember that time when he said this to Arturo Gatti, and he told him he was going to beat the shit out of him, and he did. That shit is so crazy to me, because it's like, I have yet to see somebody get their ass whooped, a team get their ass whooped or whatever, and I'm hurting about it. I'm walking around here wanting to see bad things happen to somebody because you beat the person that I wanted to win, or you beat the team I wanted to win. Nah, that is bullshit, man. Like, that shit don't live in me. And y'all always talking about somebody living in someone's head rent-free, but y'all are people are so quick to jump on certain things and yeah, and he ain't got no more money. And so let's say if that was the case, that makes you feel better to know that somebody's gonna have a hard time feeding their family, or things that, like, I mean, I don't understand y'all. I'm talking about you all who think like that. So whoever I offend, fuck you. Simple. Do something about it. At the end of the day, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw what happened. I saw what happened. Now, what I really want to talk about, what I was going to do the video about, I was only going to do this one video today. I didn't want this video to be so long, You know what? I'll save that one for another video. Let me just address something else. Yes, I saw, this situation of Terrence Crawford confronting Blue Blood Sports TV about, saying things he's claiming that it's not true about him and that he's lying on him and, all this. Yeah, look, y'all. I really don't care to talk about Spence and Crawford, like to really detail anything about them, because I'm really getting tired of just videos being made about the possibility of a fight being made, and then we get bullshit. We get bullshit information. Yeah, I saw. I saw Tyson Fury. let me just keep going. I'll stop when I'm ready. I saw the video of him when he came out and was talking to Frank Warren. And he started talking to him. But first off, let me say this. First off, the interview wasn't about Tyson Fury. And he, in that same interview, says, yeah, man, he's talking about how this is, Joe Joyce's moment, even though he wasn't there. It was just Frank Warren being interviewed. And, but then he starts talking about how Anthony Joshua has till Monday to sign the contract, not Tuesday, not Wednesday. If they don't sign it by Monday, the fight's off. And he just had to get that in there, right? Okay, fine. But it's funny because, I also heard something about him and Derek Chisora had words or something. I didn't really feed into that shit because it's like, man, Derek Chisora, yeah, he probably was saying, hey, man, it was supposed to be me, not Manuel Cha. Why not me? Right? Who knows what they were arguing about? Petty shit. So I didn't even get into that. But here's something for y'all to think about. Joe Joyce, he did what he had to do. Great news is he is the WBO mandatory for Alexander Usyk, which means if Usyk doesn't fight anyone until, say, April, May, March, whenever the fuck, Tyson Fury should have already fought by then, because he's trying to fight in December. So if it's not Anthony Joshua, because I also didn't watch the video at all, just saw a couple of videos where it's stating that Anthony Joshua responds and says he's signing a contract. I didn't see anything on Anthony Joshua's he has an actual YouTube channel. I didn't see anything on there. I didn't see anything on his Instagram. I don't follow them. I just look up the information. I didn't see anything. No Facebook, nothing. So I didn't hear Eddie Hearn say anything different, that Anthony Joshua is signing a contract before Monday or whatever. Today is Sunday. Okay, the day after the fight. So I sat there and I'm like, okay, he's saying that, but here's the thing. The timetable, the way I see it, is not going to coincide with what Fury wants to do. Because let's just be real. If it's okay, do you think that he'll put a rematch clause in the stipulation with Manuel Cha? If he does, he probably don't talk about the contract. Just in case he lose, right? Which he shouldn't lose. Shouldn't lose a fucking round to Manuel Cha. But either way, he beats Manuel Cha. None of us can say if Fury is or isn't going to get injured in the fight. We don't know that. You can break your hand, anything. We don't know that. Now, if he fights in December, March would be 3 months, after, and probably would be late March. If Usyk is going to fight someone else by then, or will he just be ready to fight Fury by then? We don't know. There's no need for us to assume what either guy's going to do. Like, if this happens, if that happens, we don't know. So, in other words, no need to try to get our hopes up high. I'm certainly not doing that shit. I don't really give a fuck personally. But to try to make yourselves feel like, yeah, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Okay, here's my thing. If their timetable don't work out, you got to remember something. Joe Joyce is managed by Frank Warren. So Frank Warren, notice, he wanted to make it known that Fury said that he thinks Joyce beats everybody except for him or some shit, but he knows it's a competitive fight or whatever. However, okay, fine. Of course he wants that fight with Usyk, that rematch with Usyk. Why wouldn't he? Frank Warren wants it. Joe Joyce wants it. If he fights and Usyk defends the WBO, okay, it's not for all the belts that he has, but just the WBO. Even if he does that, guess what? Frank Warren now has 2 heavyweights that has real estate in the heavyweight division. So whether it's Joyce or whether it's Fury, right? Because think about this. If it's a mandatory fight, same thing. Does Usyk put a rematch clause in there for his WBO? Because if he does, then that's 2 fights. Is Fury going to sit back and wait? No. Should the heavyweight division be put on hold? No. So what happens? This is, you got to look at these things. Let's say he beats him both times, whatever. Either way, the point is, if it's 2 fights, then we talk another 3 months, or however long it may take. Then what if Usyk gets hurt in the fight? What if Joyce gets hurt in the fight? So we don't know this. But what we do know is if that was to happen, and Fury has the WBC and Joyce has the WBO, he's going to try to make sure he get his guys in line to fight who has the other 2, which right now is Usyk. Because if he beats him both times, right, then it's like, okay, well, now, does he have a mandatory by any other sanctioning belt, which would be the WBA or the IBF? We don't know. But who does he fight? Does he come off of a loss and then go fight Tyson Fury? You got to look at the possibilities. Basically, what Frank Warren would try to do is make sure that between Fury and Joyce, that both of them have gold. That way, they're going to be the ones that fight for undisputed. Somebody get those belts off Usyk. Okay? Maybe someone else beats Usyk. Who knows? So pretty much, things are not happening the way they tried to plan it and the way everybody was receiving it. Like, oh, it's going to be this, and then AJ, and then if it's a rematch, then this, and then AJ goes to fight this guy. No, AJ, I really think should take himself out of this mess. Now it's up to him if he wants to go through with the fight. As long as he feels like I say, if he is in the right space where he should be, then fine, by all means. Because if he loses again, and he goes and then does what he has to do, then people would say it would have made more sense if he wouldn't even fought Fury and just went on, took the 2 meatball fights to just get some more rounds in and just keep busy, and it could be able to work on some things in training that he stopped doing or doesn't do or whatever. Then okay, Dillian White, then Wilder, however. And the thing is, because you never know that a fight is going to actually happen, you have to always look at those like situations, the possibilities. So looking at that, Joe Joyce is not the star that AJ is, and neither is Fury, truthfully. Okay, but if undisputed is going to happen and both guys are managed by Frank Warren, Frank Warren comes out like a champ regardless. You understand what I mean? So when I'm looking at what's happening, even when you hear me say, like, I want Deontay to beat Helenius because I want to see him against Joe Joyce. That's the fight I want to see. Frank Warren is saying he want to see Joe Joyce against Usyk. Why? Wilder has no fucking belt. It makes sense to me. But I want to see that fight. And pretty much, here's the thing. The reality is this. If Helenius wins, then that means, hey, well, he earned a shot at somebody if he beats Wilder, right? Whatever shot Wilder was going to get, Helenius should get it. That's what it is. So it's not like if Wilder was to lose, damn. No. It's just, that's the fight I want to see. Okay? And Helenius is a hand pick, man. He's a cherry pick. We know that. Even though it's a mandatory, it's a cherry pick. Just like the last mandatory that Wilder had was who? This is only his... No, this is not a mandatory. It's a title eliminator. The only 2 mandatories he had was Dominic Breazeale and Berman Stavern, who basically did absolutely nothing to become his mandatory. So pretty much, it's like, yeah, they could have picked somebody else. Why not pick Joe Joyce for the title eliminator? Why, you understand what I mean? It could have been anybody else better than Robert Helenius. But since that's what it is, fine, that's what it is. So now, going forward, If Anthony Joshua doesn't sign the contract and he just decides what, see, basically they're making it sound like it's AJ, it's AJ. Eddie Hearn is saying something, they're saying something. We only know what we're hearing, but Eddie Hearn is speaking about what the situation is. Leave it to Fury. He's saying the only thing stopping the fight is Anthony Joshua. Okay? But at the end of the day, real fight fans want to see fighters at their best go at it. We don't want to see half-ass fucking, he's not ready, but he's just in there because he want us to, yay, he took the fight. We don't want that shit. I know I don't. Like I said, real fight fans, not these fucking casuals who just spew anything out their mouth that they think sounds good. But after the performance that Joe Joyce put on, Wilder is not going to pick Joe Joyce. Compare his performance, all right, with Joseph Parker, and compare the performance of Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz. And they keep trying to feed you this bullshit like all this boogeyman, yo, Luis Ortiz is that guy, whatever. They know that Joe Joyce, he fights everybody the same way. He's that juggernaut. He's going to come forward. He just knows when to turn it up, when to turn it down a little bit, turn it back up. They know that. So when you look at everything, with him having the mandatory for Usyks WBO, I'm hoping that fight is next. That's what I really hope happened. I hope that fight is next. I would rather see him fight Usyk than Wilder in that situation because now he has a title. So now, Wilder has no reason, if he beats Helenius, to not fight an Andy Ruiz, to not fight another title-worthy contender, because nobody wants to see. You know what? I get sick of making videos, and it's always about the possibility of a fight. It's always, well, the contract is there, or this person is not signing this. It's like, I'm not into this soap opera type stuff. Either y'all want to fight or y'all don't. Now, if it comes to anything else with networks and all that, I get all of that. But it's just like, goddamn it, every division that you want to see the top fights is like so difficult for these fights to happen. So, that being said, between the two of them, Joe Joyce is older than Fury. Frank Warren would be in a great position to have two guys in the heavyweight division holding titles, because regardless, whoever loses, he still wins. And at the end of the day, he's going to always try to put his fighters in a position where they are able to get the best fights, the bigger paydays. And that's as they should try to do that, okay? But it's one of these situations where now I'm looking at like things are about to change. Everything we was thinking before last night is different now. It's different. I say it again. I do not really believe Fury expected Anthony Joshua to accept the fight. As for Usyk, he was trying to do the same thing, to try to rush them, to hurry up and rush them to fight. But he was saying he was agreeing to the December 17th date. Well, if he was agreeing to the December 17th date, why would Usyk have to tell him, hey, look, man, stop rushing us. We'll make the fight. Don't rush us. If it was agreed to. Because if it was agreed to, that means that's what Usyk would have said. But think about it. Usyk didn't say that shit. Usyk said that he was injured and there's no way he'd be ready. Where Usyk and his team, that made no sense, is them saying that they could fight Tyson Fury before the year's out. Because it's like, well, y'all the one said y'all were hurt. So what do you mean? I don't know if that was just some mind games bullshit they were playing with him or what. Who knows? Maybe Usyk healed up sooner than he thought. Who knows? I don't know. Really don't care at this point. But at the same time, we need something different to happen. And what I think would be best for the division is for people to not try to dance to the tune of Frank Warren and Tyson Fury. I think they need to do what's best for the division, what's best for themselves, okay? What's best for boxing. Not for them to go out and because Fury say so, or because any one fighter say so, when it's based on the simple fact of, look, stop trying to rush people to fight the way you want. And also, what y'all probably are not aware of, unless y'all been watching the product, Fury, Triple H just said the other day that Fury is doing some more work with them real soon, and they're trying to fit him in it. So yeah, he's trying. It's not just a boxing thing. He's trying to line himself up where he can make as much money as he possibly can, not injure himself, and also have enough time to train so he can fight when he wants. Nobody needs to be held up because he's trying to do those things. But if this is Fury's exit strategy, and let's say his last fight as a pro fighter may be against Joe Joyce, just say, for example, for Undisputed, if that's the case, it would just be a lot better if he would not play the games that he plays and make sure that every fight that he take up until that time comes, that he take it and do it just under the right pretense, not fucking sitting back. Oh, you have until today to sign the contract. You have this and this. Oh, 48 hours, take it or leave it. That type of shit is like, bro, that's not what it is. And I hope that if Joe Joyce, I want to see Joe Joyce get his just due, and I believe he'll beat Usyk if they fight. Should he beat Usyk, and he has the WBO, I just hope Frank Warren is not able, for his sake, okay, and for the sake of boxing, he's not able to get in his ear and move him the way he's been moving Fury with this pick and choose shit and just talk but not ready to jump in there and fight. Joe Joyce don't seem like the type of guy that would go for that type of shit, but you just never know. I don't know him personally to say what he would or wouldn't do. But it makes me feel proud when I tune in and see two gladiators go in there and fight. Whether they brawl, whether they box, however it go, but I see them go in there and perform. But when I see the same fighter perform that way and then all of a sudden get into this little funk of holding on to a belt and allowing their managers to cherry pick for them. See, when you have something to prove, you call everybody out. You want that smoke. But once you get to the point where now I'm making big money, I don't have to necessarily take these fights anymore. And I'll still get a big payday fighting this person, that person, the more my profile grows. And we know Joe Joyce don't have, Father Time is not on his side. So hopefully he does get in there. He wins. I want to see him win, to be honest with you. I want to see him win. I feel like AJ should go do what he was going to do in the first place, because it just wouldn't make any sense. A lot of times you do things in life and you realize later, I should have did that differently. I shouldn't have. I should have. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. Too late, right? After you accept it. That's what I really would like to see happen. And I really just think that the heavyweight division definitely needs a shakeup. Now they need to find a way to get Frank Sanchez in the mix, because Daniel Dubois, all these guys that, people don't understand that. Daniel Dubois, Frank Sanchez, guys like that, they're coming up after AJ and all of them. Even though AJ and them, AJ's not, look, these guys are not old, but AJ's what, 33 now? So 32, 33. Joe Joyce is the older one. In boxing, 33 is not that young. So how much longer these guys are going to be there, we don't know. But the face of boxing in heavyweight, the face of the heavyweight division is going to be who? You have some guys that's there, they don't have the popularity yet. Joe Joyce made a big statement last night. He put his thumbprint on boxing, like, no, I'm here. Y'all thought I was a hype job. I'm here. Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker said the same thing that Daniel Dubois said, some of the same things. But he also, he says that, he's slow, he's easy to hit. He has no footwork. He doesn't know how to cut off a ring. And all the things that Joseph Parker said, Joe Joyce showed up and did. So basically, as I said in the last video, Joe Joyce is a guy from the outside looking in. You see the things he do, but who's out there that can make him pay for that shit? Who's out there that's I'm gonna capitalize? You got to look at it for what it is. Joe Joyce made a huge statement last night, and he has a lot of people. I told you guys a long time ago, I said Joe Joyce, the sloppy footwork, he's there to be hit, he's off balance a lot, and you seen him tighten up some against Parker. But I told you guys after he beat Dubois, what did I say? I said, nah, that motherfucker, that's just his style, man. That, like, his ability to take a punch, his stamina, everything, that relentless pressure, it all goes hand in hand. Now, I think he should tighten up on the defense, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I don't think it's cool if anybody just be taking shots just because you can take them. But I told you guys after he beat Daniel Dubois. Now, when you look at Daniel Dubois, his performance didn't look bad at all, did it? And he was in that fight, and that fight was way closer than Joseph Parker was in that fight with him. He basically beat Daniel Dubois with the jab was the key, and he damaged his eye really bad. He just decided, nah, something is definitely wrong with my eye, and he quit. Okay, but look at what he was doing before that. Joseph Parker was landing shots. He was in that fight. But my point is, you realize Daniel Dubois is better than people gave him credit for. Now you compare their performances. Who you think did better against Joe Joyce, him or Parker? You see what I'm saying? So Daniel Dubois is in a good space right now. He came back. I forgot the guy that he beat. Then he beat Trevor Bryant and took his belt, whatever. So Daniel Dubois is in a good space. I really don't know how long Joe Joyce is going to be able to sustain what he has right now. So with his age, I'm not putting him in there with the younger guys as far as the future of boxing. You guys got to stop with this. Like, you see guys like Jaron Ennis and the other American heavyweight, 22 years old. These guys want to fight these guys that's been out here. He's not ready. Keyshawn Johnson, all these guys. And you guys are, oh man, he need to sit his ass down. You don't want to see these guys fight? So now all of a sudden, like I said, you got to be 30 and up in order to win the title nowadays to be ready? Nah. I want to see these guys fight. I respect the fact that they have the heart and the determination to get in there. And this is what boxing needs. Boxing the fans have become complacent just like the fighters. Where they're okay with guys not wanting to fight other guys. And like I was just listening to Canelo at the end of the last fight he just had, right? And you remember when he was being interviewed, I don't need to play the video. Y'all can pull up the post conference and listen to him talk. And he said he was getting mad. Remember, he said, one more question, because I a little mad now. Because they asked him about Jake Paul, and he's saying like what Jake Paul has to have in order for him to fight. Maybe in 2 years, he says, right? Remember last year I made the video speaking about that? And so it goes to show you, no, it's the same conversations over and over. And I said, why would he even entertain fighting Jake Paul at all when he clearly said Demetrius Andrade has done nothing? Right? That's what he said. He's done nothing. So Charlo hasn't done anything either, right? Remember the same thing. 2022. Here it is, September 2022. And the same things. The same questions are being asked. And the same answers are being given. I forget how to pronounce the name of that guy, that Caleb, something, Satoshi, or whatever he called himself. Caleb Plant was accused of doing nothing. He ain't got nobody on his resume. Okay, you fought him. And then he says the same thing about David Benavidez. Did you guys not hear what he said? At the post-fight interview, he said, David Benavidez is nothing. He not beat not one champion, just the rail guy, right? Okay. Again, so how many world champions have Caleb Plant beat? So basically, Billy Joe Saunders and Smith was worth it, but you tell me Benavidez wasn't worth it? Caleb Plant was worth it? Charlo's not worth it, though? Benavidez is not worth it? Andrade is not worth it? This is the shit we cannot do in boxing, is come to this complacent point. Oh, it's okay, and then you complain because, guys, there's a lot of divisions. We didn't have all these divisions way back in the days. There's a lot of boxing divisions out there, man, and for all these fighters that's out there, you don't know more than half of them. And then you have known fighters that are world-class fighters that won't get in there and fight. I mean, look, did you not see people putting up thumbnails of Errol Spence versus Crawford? Oh, Crawford agreed to 60-40. Oh, Crawford agreed to 65-35. Oh, and it's like, and then just to watch Bomac talk, like Bomac contradicted himself. Remember the interview when he said that Spence is not special? I don't see nothing special about him. He's just straight up and down. No real skill. Now he says Spence is special. He's definitely special. Spence is different. See, this is what I'm talking about. This camera, this right here, social media, got people talking out their ass, saying just anything. And when I find myself doing more coverage of possibilities of fights versus fights that actually happen, and it's like no point for me to do fight breakdowns or fight, just reactions or interviews, talks about these fighters when nobody knows who the fuck they are. I waste my time fucking half hour to an hour sitting there talking about fighters and people like, who the fuck is that? Like, no, okay. So it's just like, these guys are doing so much, talking, and people got endorsement deals, and they're scared that they're going to lose their deals, so they don't want to fight certain fighters. And then you hearing it's a done deal with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. No, man, we need something different. And last night was the first, this been a long time since I saw a fight that sent electricity through my body to where I started just looking at the division and going, yeah, okay. See, the heavyweight division, just thinking about the shakeup that we need, the things that should happen so we can actually enjoy not just one fighter, not just two fighters, the division itself. We know Frank Warren is not going to sit here and try to use Joe Joyce or Tyson Fury to eliminate the other. And if Frank Warren has his way, I believe that for Fury, like I said, if he ends up fighting for Undisputed, that would probably be his last fight. Who knows? And if it happens to be against Joe Joyce, so be it. Because one leaves, the other stays. And I don't know. Like I said, we don't know how long Joe Joyce is going to be able to sustain this shit. So they always have to look at who's next in the stable. See, let me show you guys something as well, right? Whether it's Julio Cesar Chavez, whether it's Benavidez Sr., whether it's Juan Manuel Marquez, when I hear these fighters speak against what Canelo was doing, and you see a bunch of ignorant, stupid comments, oh, they just jealous, they hate us because they never accomplished what Canelo did, like, yeah. It's not even necessary to even give energy to those people. I love that because, for one, I'm not going to sit up here and try to defend a black American because we're black to make excuses for them, when clearly I know they're full of shit. This is a business. So if I'm fighting black Americans and I'm that guy, I'm giving them opportunities that they won't get fighting these other guys that can't get them out there. So Canelo would also be helping his countrymen by doing that. That's the case. Also, they're letting them know, no, we all Mexican. And we don't fucking agree with that bullshit. So don't think because Canelo's saying this that we back him because he's Mexican. Some people try to just play neutral and whatever because it's Canelo. They feel like if they say something about Canelo that people not going to like, they're going to start bashing them and it might damage their careers or the way people see them. After Canelo is no longer in his glory and the clock, look, the clock is winding down on Canelo. Who's going to be the next Mexican superstar? See, instead of embracing Benavidez, because he's speaking his mind, look, he want payday. Every fucking fight you want payday. Every fucking fight. Every fighter. They always want a payday. Yeah, but he's going to make a bigger payday against Canelo. As he fucking should. Why would he not want a payday? Does their motive matter to you when you know that they're going to bring the fucking fight to you regardless? This is why when we listen to bullshit, like, let me explain something to y'all, make this crystal clear. I don't listen to any other boxing channel and then repeat what they say. I don't have a problem listening to their views and ideals about what they think based on what they hear and know. I always go to, like, when you see me play videos of Eddie Hearn and these guys talking, it's either because, one, the video is kind of lengthy and it's a lot of shit to try to remember, because I don't like having to just write notes down. To be honest with you, I just freelance. Well, and then two, you hear it from them. So it's no, oh, Eddie didn't say that. Oh, that's not what AJ said. Did you just hear them say that or no? Okay, so it's not about, because people love to try to debate on something when it's like, first off, idiot, I don't have to debate with you. I don't care about debating with you. I'm giving news that we hear. So every time we hear something, like somebody, said to me yesterday, yo, I remember you said Manuel Char and Derek Chisora name came up, and I never saw that shit. And now I heard Manuel Char said that, yeah, he's fighting Fury next. Right. Yeah. So when I said it, what the fuck? Am I sitting up here just making lies up? Oh, let me just think of something to tell these people that's not true. Yeah, he said that shit. And I told you, Manuel Char name and Derek Chisora name came up. One of the family, Hyper Nonverbal, salute to you. He said something in the comment that I told you guys when we first heard of this shit. Okay, and he added more detail, which let me paraphrase, okay, in my own words. When you book a fucking venue, okay, it's something that you book because you have an event going on. Like, if you do music or something, or you was throwing some big birthday bash for somebody, something you have to negotiate with another party on, how the fuck do you explain how you book a venue? How do you book a fucking venue for something like that? Against a guy like AJ or Usyk. Someone who doesn't have a big profile. Maybe Frank Warren can talk to his people and say, look, we got the venue. Don't worry about it. The venue is such and such. This is that. This is the date we're looking for. Do you guys want in? And then we can take it from there. You think that that's the proper way to treat a fight with AJ or with Usyk? You already have a venue. Didn't they say that if they was to fight, it would be at Principality Stadium? That's not the venue he had booked. And that came out of Frank Warren's fucking mouth, that they had a venue booked for the 17th. And it just so happens that Anthony Joshua wanted to fight on the 17th of December. And we heard at the end of the fucking fight, Eddie Hearn said they wanted to keep AJ busy. They wanted to get him in there in December and then again in March. That's what they said. But then at the same time, when Tyson Fury and Frank Warren is talking, they say, oh, well, Frank Warren says, remember, Fury gave him the 27th or the 3rd, the 27th of November or the 3rd of December. Pick a date, right? Manuel Char, they're talking about December 3rd. So this is what I'm saying to you. It was way too much detail and too much not involving AJ and Hearn, and Usyk already said no, right? That he won't, there's no way he'll be ready by then, right? Just be patient, don't rush us, right? So, yeah, for you to try to book a venue for some unknown motherfucker where you are the A side, they just jumping on the card to be on there. Yeah, okay. Who else did you hear about even the fucking undercard for this fight? You're not even hearing. Are you hearing any interviews with other fighters saying we're fighting on the Fury undercard? Because there's no fight signed yet, right? Okay, but even in the process, the build up, you don't even hear nobody talking about who's fighting who. What you think? Is it going to be just AJ versus Fury and that's the only fight for the night? No, you don't even. So basically, this is the whole point of what I'm saying. It goes to show you that I don't really believe that he wanted AJ, and I don't believe he really thought AJ was going to sign. And I believe the way things are looking, he feel like more than likely AJ's not going to sign. But if he does, okay, fuck it. Well, we know he's not right in the head anyway. Pretty much. It is what it is. Whether he signs it or not, it is what it is. But that's where, look at what I'm saying. You think, like, for example, who does the WWE right? Who does Madison Square Garden more regularly than the WWE? Aside from like the New York Knicks. But you know, so what the WWE does, just say if AEW wants to book a show at Madison Square Garden, and they say, what's the latest dates you have open? We want to do something in May. Is anything? And they, you know what? Let me check. Yeah, we can. May 17th. Vince McMahon has his ears to the street, finds out, oh, AEW wants to come and do a show. May 17th. That's why they try to book the shows so regularly to where it's next to impossible for any other company to really sneak in there. Then they find out, oh, AEW wants to do this show on the 17th. Money talks. Shit happens. There's been times in the past where Vince has tried to block WCW, right? Okay, well, no, look, you know, and basically, they throw out some extra money. I'm just saying, it's the type of situation where this is business. We trying to get, you know, well, look, we'll do that. Tell them that you can't do it. Just tell them. We'll book the show for that day or whatever, and then we'll do this and this to work out, and we'll pay X amount, and we're going to bring more at the gate than that company will. It's business. Shit happens. So basically, for Frank Warren to say out of his own mouth, and for Fury to say that they had a venue booked for the 17th, that wasn't for no fucking Usyk, and it wasn't for AJ. A fight of that magnitude. Really? Nah. That shit was booked for Manuel Char or Derek Chisora. And maybe that's what Derek Chisora and Fury was arguing about. Who knows? But at the end of the fucking day, what y'all got to understand about all of this shit with business is people tell you what they want you to know. They don't tell you everything. And when somebody does tell you something, but at least it makes sense, well, doesn't that make you feel like, okay, I can understand that, but not that bullshit, right? So all this finger pointing and saying that this guy's not doing this, and because notice, out of everything of what Anthony Joshua said, right? Eddie Hearn said, how could Fury tell you what AJ is or isn't doing? Because that's basically what he says. The only person holding up this fight is Anthony Joshua. How would you know that? How would you know that? Especially when the contract has been signed, right? And it's like, no, we're not signing this shit. We agreed to your terms. But it's the other shit on here that's reformatted. Let's not forget something. Okay, let's not forget. Joseph Parker said it was torturous dealing with Frank Warren because Frank Warren says one thing and does something different. Did he not say that? He said, man, he gave me a handshake agreement. A handshake agreement about the terms. Then they send the contract and the contract is all over the place. Ain't that the same shit Eddie Hearn said? What he said, it was, negotiate this network thing and stuff like that, whatever. Okay. Other shit, which Fury and Frank Warren won't speak on. Now, they can't speak on that, but they can tell you that it's Anthony Joshua. It's not Eddie Hearn, but Anthony Joshua. When Anthony Joshua is the fucking one telling Eddie Hearn, nah, I want this fight. Yeah. I'm definitely want this fight. I 100% totally want this fight. So this is the whole thing. We got to try to make him look bad. He's the fighter. He's the one in the ring, not Eddie. Let's make it look like it's AJ. Look, y'all. Every time something happens good in boxing, they take one step forward, then they take 4 steps backwards. And I really would like to see Joe Joyce's momentum keep going. Y'all know how I get down, man. Whoever Anthony Joshua fights, I'm pulling for AJ to win. I'm not going to sit up here and be delusional and act like the rest of you motherfuckers do. And act like, sit there and cross my fingers and, no, AJ's going to come back. I just know it. I just know the real AJ. I don't know that. It would be nice for him to be able to tap into, hey, all right, Hulk, come out. I'm tired of being Bruce Banner. Let's go. I need you to come out. I don't need Professor Hulk. I need World Breaker Hulk. I need the real Hulk to come out. That's up to AJ. I got to go by what I see. I can't go by what he used to be. I got to go by what he is now. And what I see now, I feel like it was not in his best interest to go in this fight unless this motherfucker has something going on inside of him that he is like just feels 110% comfortable. Because when you ask a fighter, like I said in the last fight, how do you beat Usyk? And that answer is prayer. And this was before the fight. We see the meltdown after the fight. Do your homework. You've had guys that's known to have great punching power, put pressure on fighters, but then you have that slick boxer that's what they want you to do, and they want you to get mad. Because you know what? Even being a pressure fighter, there's still a strategy involved. They want you to just lose your shit. I'm gonna try to kill this mother, try to get under their skin. Why you think Ali was talking so much shit to Sonny Liston? Why you think Ali talked so much shit to his opponents? And they tell you about Sonny Liston, that motherfucker was a killer. Sonny Liston was Ali ain't care. Yeah, I'm gonna get under his skin, make him come in there and throw a bunch of wild shit, burn himself out. I mean, it's always, whether he was rope-a-doping, George Foreman. Remember when they, you ever see that interview when they asked Ali about who he think he would have beat these different guys? They asked him about Marciano, and he said, I don't know if I'd have whooped him. Like, he hit so hard, but he basically was giving his thoughts about what he thought might have happened. Now, look at Ali when he fought George Foreman. You ask most people who you think would have beat Marciano or Foreman. Fuck 49-0, they will tell you George Foreman would have knocked him out. He was too small. Marciano was only 188 pounds. All right? George Foreman would have knocked him out. Most people will tell you that shit. Look at how he was talking about George Foreman, though. Right? He didn't respect George Foreman. He felt like, nah, I could beat this guy. And he did. My point is, ask Ali later in life that same question about Marciano, and he'll tell you how to beat Marciano. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Confidence in your accomplishments, that's what builds it. And then Ali figured out, he learned later, I can stand and fight if I need to. I don't have to be on my toes going backwards all the time. And when he got to the point where he couldn't, he didn't have no choice, right? Because he couldn't dance all night. And he's not even in his prime anymore at this point. But he's standing there banging with guys. And even in his prime, he'd sit down on his punches and get in your face and bang with you when he needed to. Get in, get out. The difference was he was able to control the pace better back then. But he realized, damn, I have it in me to stand here and bang with these dudes. Oh yeah, okay. And you saw him do it. And Ali was not the biggest puncher, right? So at the end of the day, he had respectable power though. But at the end of the fucking day, and he could get you the fuck out of there. But what I'm saying, it's what you do in the ring. I'm looking at Joe Joyce and I'm thinking, man, you know something that's crazy? When I tell you guys shit like the things that we see in him as flaws, that's just who this motherfucker is. Now, like I said, yeah, there are some things that was flawed. Like I said, taking unnecessary shots and throwing wild shots and being overzealous to land and, just following you around and not cutting the ring off. But again, like I said, we've seen him do everything better against Parker. And it just wasn't a style make fight situation. He just tightened up because he fights everybody the same fucking way. Okay? Doesn't Dillian White fight everybody the same way? But do we feel that Dillian White can beat anybody? Just anybody? No, we don't. No, we don't. So it's what I'm saying. We see something in Joe Joyce where people are now looking at him completely different. And one fight. That's all it took. One fucking fight. But I said now, looking at what he did against Dubois, you realize Dubois is better than people gave him credit for, and Joe Joyce is better than people gave him credit for. So, yeah, man, I mean, now when you look at it, you got people like, damn, okay, this motherfucker is really for real. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of times fighters don't even see it in themselves like they can do certain things, and you see it. Now, my point, okay, my comparison to what Ali said versus what Anthony Joshua was saying about was Ali said he don't know if he would have whooped Marciano, but, he if you saw the video, he talked about what he thought would have happened, how he would have fought Marciano. But at the same time, what I'm saying, that was just him. It didn't make a difference because him and Marciano would never fight. They from two different eras, all right? Plain and simple. Anthony Joshua is saying, how you beat Usyk, like what do you do different? And he said, prayer. I believe Anthony Joshua worked his ass off, and that's one of the reasons why he was so crushed that he lost. But at the end of the day, he doesn't sound like he had confidence in himself. Ali didn't say what he said as a lack of confidence. He was asked a question about a guy that he'll never be in the ring with. If Ali had to fight Marciano, do you think Ali would have said the same thing? Imagine. He's fighting Rocky Marciano. I don't know if I can beat him, but no. Nah. And, that type of thing, don't get that crossed and confused with someone having a lack of confidence. You can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like Malik Scott. He's telling everybody that, Deontay Wilder got some tricks up his sleeves, man. He got some new tricks and stuff. And again, every time he bring them little foam sticks out, everybody lose their shit. Look at the footwork. Because the motherfucker is just hopping up and down the same spot, a few seconds, then backpedal and all this little shit, doing little shit against foam sticks, and all of a sudden we have a brand new Deontay Wilder. No. Talking shit don't mean nothing. Malik Scott, first off, Malik Scott got his ass beat by Wilder. Most people say he threw the fight, that he winked at him or something before he threw the punch, and he pretended he'd be knocked out or whatever. You get a guy that you beat to train you, and talking about he's 10 times better than Muhammad Ali. He'll beat Usyk with no problem. Well, like I told you guys before, as far as Deontay Wilder becoming a better fighter, Malik Scott is not that guy to bring it out of him. I seen nothing different in the ring when he got in there against Fury. So all of the talk about new tricks up his sleeve, that don't mean anything. We don't care if the man is a magician, because those tricks he don't bring into the ring with him. What we talking about is what happens bell to bell in that fucking ring. Not what you say, not what you promise, not what you think you can do, or what you think your fighter can do. But supreme confidence in yourself shows in the ring, which is why I respect Evander Holyfield so much, because that motherfucker was 206 fucking pounds. And he was in there fighting motherfuckers like he was 250. I mean, like, that's when I look at these guys and I'm like, come on, man, you naturally 245, 250, man, and you in here fucking scared to go in and trade with this motherfucker. Come on, bro. And I will say this too. I think that Joseph Parker, that extra weight slowed him down. I pictured him boxing more. Using movement, working off his jabbing to the body to offset Joe Joyce, spin off him. If Joe Joyce comes in, because Joe Joyce does, he has been smothering his punches at times when he would come in, and if he does that, being that he's shorter, Joyce is going to be kind of like up top, and then even if they if they because there was a lot of holding in that fight. So if he did that and gave himself time to separate himself and jab to the hips, I'm gonna tell you something. Even the best fighters that I see right now in this era, they lack basic boxing fundamentals. I ain't talking about all of people get so caught up into the flashiness, the hand speed, and all this little, but they lack basic boxing fundamentals. It's a lot of shit. Do you know what jabs to the hip does to somebody? Do you know when you constantly and you pop 3-4 rounds of that shit go by and you keep jabbing to the body and hitting that hip? In their minds, they don't think you scoring points, right? It's not, he hit me in the hip. No. Guess what happens? I'm fucking leg, especially your lead leg. You, damn, all right. Start dragging. They lack basic fundamentals, man. You don't see them spin off a guy. Even when they hit the rope, they don't slide down the ropes. They just stay there, taking unnecessary punishment. We was taught when your back hit the ropes, you slide left or right and get the fuck out of there. Right? If you're defensive, like Floyd, how Floyd could stand there comfortable in the pocket, shoulder roll, they missing everything. The crowd, yeah, but the guy ain't hitting nothing. I expected Joe Joyce to fight different from what he did. When I saw him at the weigh-in and saw how much weight he gained, I'm like, yeah, I think he's going to try to trade. Because Joe Joyce is not known to be like a punishing type puncher where, like, Wilder, gained more weight. So he was doing that to prepare for, Fury walking him down, trying to put his weight on him, which is why that weight should have been on his legs. Really, to be honest with you. And you see how exhausted he was in that fight. By the eighth and ninth round, he was exhausted. And I expected Joseph Parker to fight different, like I said, but the weight gain, I'm like, yeah, he's going to try to trade with him. And after the first round, just watching him, like, yeah, I see where this is going. By the third and fourth, it was just apparent what the game plan was. And when you start getting hit and the things that you were taught to do is not working, that's when the game plan just goes out the window with most fighters. And the corner even gets you. And they'll just, all right, look, this is what I want you to do. Now you have to be able to change up. And I think that, see, Joe Joyce is going to be Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is the kind of fighter where you have to be different. And if you don't have the same stuff he has, you have to be different. Joe Joyce coming the way he did, they expected that. But especially when Parker was saying like how he's slow, he's there to be hit, you expecting Parker, because Parker has the faster hands, right? So you're expecting Parker to angle. He got height on you. Like I said, jab to his body, jab to his chest. Don't stay there. Throw your combinations, be out. Make him have to keep finding you. That's what I thought he was going to do. And that's tiring as well. But at least that's why I said when he comes in, if you tie him up and he's missing shots, it's a lot easier on you than getting slugged upside your head and your body. Then you finally grab him. You're going to grab him anyway. Then you might as well make sure that you're getting off first. But, I mean, it ended up being, like I said, when you in there, it's different. So he brought what he had. But listen, don't get it twisted. By no stretch of the mind did Joseph Parker go out like no sucker. Joseph Parker went in there and he fought his ass off. And, I would like to see him, basically, whoever he fights, it's not about any one particular fighter, but he took a beating in that fight. So, I mean, he might come back with a soft touch, then jump back in there with somebody, however it goes. But hopefully he doesn't get discouraged by this loss. Joe Joyce said that they talked, they spoke, he seemed to be in good spirits, and, Parker didn't make no excuses or nothing. He just, hey, he lost. The better man, he's the better man tonight. Simple. Let it go. Move on. No need to, cry about it. Nah, just move on, man. Move on. And if Joseph Parker can do that, there's still some good fights out there for him. But, when you understand that this dude is different, like I said, he's special in a different way, man. He's not gifted with lightning hand speed, lightning foot speed, slippery head moving. Oh, this dude, Joe Joyce is different, man. You know what? I said he's like this generation's, like George Foreman. He's Joe Joyce. But I mean, stylistically, what I'm saying, he's like this generation's George Foreman. He also is like a mixture. I'll describe him as like a Tim Duncan. Remember how the Spurs, 5 championships, they was killing everybody. Oh, they're boring. Oh, they don't have nobody that can jump from the foul line and do Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan type stuff, but they get the job done. That's what matters. That's Joe Joyce. He don't have the prettiest style, nah, but he gets the fucking job done. That was the Spurs. That's Tim Duncan. All right? Wasn't the most athletic motherfucker out there. Wasn't the fastest. Wasn't the strongest. But that motherfucker had the right blend. He knew how to do. They got the job done. That's what it mattered. That's what matters. Not about flash and flare. He was as skilled as he needed to be. I look at Joe Joyce, and that's what I'm saying. He's just basically, he's different. He's different. And hopefully boxing realizes that and they utilize him the right way. We don't need for him to finally get another big fight 2 years from now. No, he needs to be, I hope let me tell y'all, I hope he wind up getting the fight with Usyk. This is what I hope happened. Especially, and look, I don't hate Tyson Fury. I don't know any of these guys to hate or like that. I don't like a lot of dumb shit that he does. But let me say this. Tyson Fury is trying to set up everything. He's doing WWE shit, and he's trying to make people work around him. He's trying to be bigger than what he is. Okay? Tyson Fury by himself is not a huge draw. He needs the right dance partner. Let's not get it fucked up. For boxing, fuck Fury. For boxing, I hope Usyk decides to rematch Joe Joyce. That's what I hope happens. I hope that Deontay Wilder fights Andy Ruiz. I hope Joe Joyce beats Usyk. I hope Deontay Wilder beats Andy Ruiz. And what I hope is Anthony Joshua does what he said he was going to do. Initially, had 2 fights with 2 meatballs, get the rounds in, get his confidence back, work on some things, like I said, that he hasn't been doing. I hope he gets Dillon. I hope he beats Dillon, and then I hope Anthony Joshua and then Deontay Wilder clash. In the meantime, whatever the fuck Fury's doing, and if he winds up fighting Usyk somewhere down the line because Usyk still has the 2 other belts, cool. If he fights Usyk, right? Whether Fury wins or whether Usyk wins, I hope that it ends up being an undisputed fight with Joe Joyce. And I hope that Anthony Joshua fights Wilder, knock him the fuck out, and then he fights the winner. And if he fights Joe Joyce, at least if Anthony Joshua does lose that fight, he can say, I beat Dillon again in the rematch, I beat Wilder. You understand what I'm saying? And hey, fuck it. So if he does lose to Joyce, we're going to need that old AJ back to beat Joyce, for damn sure. But that's how I hope shit goes. And I hope that the fight is coming in under all this shit, you know, what's it, Jared Anderson and you know, Dubois, you know, and, you know, all these other guys. I hope that them coming in is a different business model. I hope that female boxing becomes a different business model. I don't want to see this same shit continue because it's not helping boxing to grow at all. And also why I feel so proud about what Joe Joyce did is because he's a guy, he's humble, he's just hungry to fight, but people shit all over him like he just wasn't shit. Like he just can't beat nobody. A lot of people now like, forget I said that. And that's what I would like to see. And it's just entertaining watching him fight because that motherfucker just comes to fight. Now, if you compare 2 fights, him versus Parker, and compare Wilder versus Fury, right? And let's take the 3rd fight, for example. People were saying fight of the year. I didn't see it like that. Wilder, because of the knockdowns, there was drama in the fight, yes. But the fight as a whole, right? Wilder misses the majority of the shots he throws. It's just the anticipation of when he connects. And he throws the same repetitive shit over and over. So when people are like, I'm like, okay. What we saw with Parker versus Joyce last night was Joyce is better than people thought he was. Parker showed he got some fucking dog in him though. So even in defeat, because as the fight went on, he started getting pieced up, and Joe Joyce pretty much just did away with him. Like I said, it was a couple of times in the fight I'm thinking, man, they probably gonna stop this shit. And then out of nowhere, Parker just comes back, and I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna yell fight of the year. I don't really care about all that shit. But at the end of the day, that was exciting. That was excitement. What happened when Fury got dropped was, damn, is he gonna get up? Because when he got dropped, he was buzzed. But he made it back to his feet. Both times. Then he knocks Wilder out. So the knockout artist gets knocked out by the pillow fist. Yeah. But when you sit back and just look at the fight itself, it wasn't the same energy. Not for me, it wasn't. And this is not to shit on a fight, but I'm not going to lie and act like that was one of the best fights I ever saw. I did not see that fight the way other people was, oh my God, fight of the year. They went at it. Nah. Wilder had his moments. And again, I asked people, how many rounds do you think Wilder won? Most people say, just the 2 rounds that he knocked Fury down in. All right, so how was it fight of the fucking year? That means it was one-sided, but he managed to get 2 knockdowns. You see, how does that sound? You know, Parker and Joyce was going at it, and I mean, he was landing shit. Wilder wasn't landing a bunch of shots on Fury. Fury wasn't landing a whole lot of shots on Wilder. When he started landing a whole lot of shots, we saw what happened. And it was the rounds that they got the knockdowns in. Otherwise, it's a lot of pause, wait, hold up, pose, okay, you know, feint, throw a shot. It wasn't a lot going on. That's why I always say, look at the punch stats of their fights. You'll see they don't throw a lot of punches. The majority of those punches, when you look, it's the rounds that they got the knockdowns in, because that's when they're trying to finish you off and trying to go for the kill. But they don't throw a lot of punches. And here's a guy in Joe Joyce that nobody really believed in, at least fan-wise. They was all counting Joe Joyce out. People just say, I like his personality. But other than that, he made a statement. Hey, Frank Warren, keep the fucking momentum going. Keep the fucking momentum going, man. I don't want to see the division held up. I don't want to, I mean, we already know that Fury wasn't going to fight Parker. Like they said, they're friends. He said he wouldn't fight him, right? Okay. Well, I'm glad that Joe Joyce and Parker wasn't friends, or we wouldn't have had what we had last night. And I saw a great fight last night. It was a good card overall, but I believe strongly that fight will produce way more than what anybody thought it was going to be. I told you, I definitely didn't picture Parker fighting the way he did, which is why I always tell you, you never know how a fight's going to actually go. But when you got certain fighters, and the thing was, it wasn't like, oh, Joe Joyce don't have the ability to do anything different. It's just, no, what he does, you know, it makes people feel like at some point he's going to get clipped and he's going to get knocked out because he takes flush punches. But like I told you guys, that's just a part of his fucking style, man. Like how he comes forward and he gets into it. Sometimes you get hit. All right, that shit wake you up. Like, okay, motherfucker, you got me. All right, let me get your ass back now, right? Good fight, man. So, all right, I gave y'all over an hour, all right? Because I don't do lives. You know what I mean? Maybe I will start doing lives, but I don't think so. Not no time soon. So that's why some of the videos I go extra long for y'all, because I give y'all something. Like I said, if you cleaning your house or you just sitting down chilling, man, just go get some popcorn or whatever, sit down. You know what I mean? That's all. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoy the content. I just wanted to get that out. And it's probably going to be the last video I make tonight. I don't know. But we'll see. So another one pop up, and y'all will know, okay, did another one. Anyway, tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.